Buenas tardes. Querido Alberto, antes de empezar te agradezco tu coraje, tu amistad y tu liderazgo. Muchas gracias por recibirnos en la hermosa ciudad de Valencia. Yo estaba en España cuando se produjeron las terribles inundaciones del pasado mes de octubre. Y aunque he vuelto a tu país desde entonces, es realmente muy especial para mí estar hoy aquí y poder expresar mi solidaridad en persona. Gracias a nuestros colegas del Partido Popular, a mi gran amiga Dolores y a Esteban, Manfred y a todos los que han dedicado su tiempo, dedicación y esfuerzo a la organización del Congreso de este año. Thank you to you, Manfred, and to all the EPP team for bringing us here today. Now, dear friends, listening to Friedrich Merz just now, I was taken back to my first EPP Congress in Berlin in 2001. I was a student then, campaigning for my country to join the European Union, arguing over amendments to resolutions in late-night hotel corridors. It feels like a lifetime ago, but the passion, the drive that I first witnessed then, I can still see shining here today, in all of you and in all the young people who are here today at their first EPP Congress. I can tell you now, this will not be your last. These events are personal to me. This political family is personal for me. Since those days in Berlin, we have won together, we have changed together, and we have lost, come back, and we have stuck together. And throughout all that, we have never lost track of our raison d'être, of our drive to make Europe stronger, to protect our way of life, to stand up for our families, for our farmers and our industry. When Europe asks questions of us, when we stand at these cliched, metaphorical crossroads, it is within our values that we find the answers. That is what we do. That is the basis of our political culture. Pragmatic, studied, moderate, principle-based leadership. That is what the EPP taught me. That is what I see personified in Manfred Weber. Dear Manfred, thank you for your drive, for your commitment, your leadership, and for always being there for all of us, no matter how difficult the moment became. Thank you, Manfred. That is what I see in Ursula von der Leyen and our commissioners who over the years, dear Ursula, you have navigated impossible geopolitical challenges, but you've done it with strength, with grace, and with purpose. Thank you for standing up for us and for Europe. That is what I see every day in our MEPs, who work so hard to deliver a new Europe for our citizens. So to all my colleagues, I thank you. I am so proud and so grateful to be part of our parliament with all of you, also many of you here today. We had a slogan once that was, "We believe in people." And that really struck with me, because that is at the heart of what we do. It is what I want to say to all those of you who are here from candidate countries, from Ukraine, from the Western Balkans, from Moldova, from Georgia. I know what these congresses mean to all of you in particular, because that is what they meant to me not so long ago. We must be future-driven. There is only one way, and that is forward and together. With the new Parliament, the new Commission, and with our Prime Ministers in the European Council, there is no excuse for us not to deliver. Because the renaissance of Europe is really within our grasp. We just need the resolve, the political courage to make these changes, to show that we are a continent on the rise, to prove that we are open for business, for ideas, for new ways to tackle old problems. This is how we defy the cynics and merchants of gloom. This is how we will keep beating back against those who have already written Europe's obituary. The first step is to understand what happened in the last European elections in June. People went back to basics when they voted. Number one, people want economic security. They want a job, they want a chance to grow and scale up their business, a fair chance to get onto the housing ladder that becomes more and more elusive every year, particularly for younger people. Number two, people want systems that work, that simplify, not complicate, systems they understand, that give them the freedom to live their lives as they choose, and that makes a real difference to them. Number three, people want safety and security. They want their children to be able to walk in the street without fear. This is the kind of peace of mind that would allow them to sleep a little bit easier. I can tell you, as a mother of 4 children, that is what I would like to. It is not too much to ask, and it is not too much to deliver. And I can assure you that in the European Parliament, and with all the MEPs who are here today, we are committed to getting it right during this legislature. Over the past months, since the Parliament voted for the new Commission, we have listened, we have prepared, and we have responded. For years, we have heard the same old story, that Europe is too slow, Europe is too divided, Europe is too bureaucratic. But my friends, I'm here to tell you that I know that Europe is strong, Europe is proud, and Europe will grow from strength to strength. Just look at how far we came on our collective security and defense. It is our family that is leading the way here. Poland, Latvia, Greece, Finland, Romania. These are the EU countries investing the largest share of their GDP into strengthening our security structures. Because this isn't just about reacting when a crisis erupts. It is about having the foresight and the courage to take the kind of measures needed to prevent it from happening. Russia's illegal war on Ukraine brought that horrifically home to us. We cannot waver in our support. We must keep standing with our friends in Ukraine until a just and lasting peace is secured. Not out of altruism, but out of a duty to keep our people safe, out of our responsibility to make sure that we help secure a real peace, peace with justice, peace with dignity, peace with integrity, and based on the ultimate principle of nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. From an economic standpoint, we are also listening. Over the past few months, I have met with business owners from all walks of life, from big industrial giants to smaller family-run enterprises. They all say the same thing. They just want a chance to compete. And here, Europe's answer should be clear, unambiguous, and resolute. We have your back. We will stand up for our businesses, our industry, and our families. This is what the European Parliament is doing, not just with words, but with action. Earlier this month, we voted to postpone the dates of application of certain reporting requirements, the so-called stop-the-clock mechanism. We did this in record time. It is going to give businesses so much needed breathing space. Less time buried in paperwork, more time turning ideas into action. Now, our simplification agenda and actions are, of course, very good first steps. But now comes the difficult part, because the challenge isn't only about streamlining regulations. It is about making sure our commitments match people's expectations. It is about having the courage to go beyond papering over the cracks. Last year, we saw the highest voter turnout in the European elections in 30 years. If there's one thing that I learned as I saw the results coming in, is that people do care, that people believe in Europe, that they want to believe that this union of ours still has purpose, direction, and the power to improve their lives. And it is up to us to give them that reason, to show them that the values we talk so often about aren't just lofty ideas in old treaties or easy sound bites, but that it is precisely because of them that we are able to make people's lives easier, better, fairer, safer, even if that means taking the painful decisions that we know are necessary. That is what leadership demands and what this moment calls for. Dear friends, what Europe stands for, what we symbolize in Europe and across the world, matters more than ever. Our European way will deliver. Yes, we might be a little bit more boring than some of our counterparts. Our systems may be a little bit more predictable. But in politics and in achieving results, that is not a bad thing. We are a work in progress. The idea that is Europe is not perfect, but we have shown what we can do. We have shown that we can find the political will to tackle generational issues that have kept our union from reaching its full potential. And we will do that again with our competitiveness drive, our simplification agenda, and our urgent need to deliver on security and defense. Our work must speak to people's lived realities, including the too many forgotten voters out there, to the young people who feel disillusioned with politics and consume news through a different lens, to the elderly who struggle with the pace of change and who still feel left behind, to mid-income Europeans for whom it is still too hard to reach the end of the month. Because being the party of this organization, being part of the People's Party means being on their side, always. It is also time to move forward with real integration in our defense, energy, telecoms, and financial markets. Because in a world of growing geopolitical rivals and economic giants focused on their own people, industries, and businesses, we need to recognize that while individually we are small, together we are a force to be reckoned with. Just look at the United States response. Now, I do not want to be misinterpreted. I will always, always stand for free and fair trade. Tariffs benefit no one. But I think it is important to recognize that we have managed to send a strong and united message, and underlined that the less barriers we create, the more prosperous our peoples will be. So of course, Europe will act to protect its workforce and defend its interests. Of course, what we are really going forward and what we really need to go forward is more dialogue and not more tension. That is what we must use this 90-day pause for. We can create a win-win for all. The same applies in the context of forging a new, closer relationship with allies like the United Kingdom and Canada. Spain and Portugal's ties to Latin America give Europe a unique ability to speak to the world and listen in a manner that enables common understanding and protects multilateralism. The times we are living in today mean that we need to get used to doing things differently, to adapting, to challenging perceptions. So let us not be afraid to take the next steps that we know are necessary. Progress doesn't wait for politicians to feel ready. It doesn't wait for comfort zones to catch up. One person described the age we are living in now, with artificial intelligence in particular, as akin to the revolution that took place in the 19th century, when the world moved from an economy based on agriculture to one based on industry. It is that big, that transformative, and that critical. And it's already happening. So we must be ready to face the inevitable pressure in the confrontation between autocratic AI and democratic AI. I want Europe to lead in this space, and I know that means giving our businesses, our researchers, our engineers, our coders, and our patent holders the room and the support that they need to compete, to innovate, and to grow. Dear friends, I will conclude by thinking back to last weekend. Like many of you, I had the honor of being in Rome last Saturday to attend the funeral of His Holiness Pope Francis. In remembering his extraordinary life and legacy, I would like to quote one of his most powerful teachings. If we want security, let us give security. If we want life, let us give life. If we want opportunities, let us provide opportunities. The yardstick we use for others will be the yardstick which time will use for us. Let that be our guide. Gracias, España. Viva Europa.